the jungler switch between the two teams. So once again, back into this game, best out of 2. We're gonna see if Aletta Ocean can keep their winning score, or if the what is it called? xMagt, you said it. The Shafika Team can pull themselves into a win. A lot of the same ADC bans between that Draven, Vayne, and Twitch. Not wanting that Twitch on blue team. There's actually, I think, one of purple team members that played last time. Bajannn is a new player, as well as it seems like everyone else is the same. And maybe the Aletta Ocean is winning a lot of the games simply due to the fact that their team is almost always the same, though they did throw T over to the enemy or the other team. So it'll be interesting to see how the game goes down. It looks like blue team has banned out a Kalye. So that was a new mid laner they did not want purple team to be able to pick up and use. Lucian also being picked up, or banned out. So a lot of those ADCs once again banned, and then LeBlanc banned out, still not wanting that powerhouse of burst damage, as well as hard to be able to get out. But that does leave open once again a Kha'Zix or Lee Sin, which are very similar champions to LeBlanc. Looks like Aletta Ocean will be back on that Lux, knows her power, knows she can hit those snares, and wanting to be able to keep doing the damage that she's done before. Lux was my favorite mid laner back in Season 2. Still one of my favorite champions to play in-game. But no, the last second we're switching over to the Annie, proving me wrong. Going in that mid lane, Annie, very strong with those stuns, as everyone knows, sets up a lot of team fighting situations and just does a great job of destroying. They don't want Scott because he means Vayne and most ADCs. So they're keeping Aletta on that mid lane by banning out a lot of his ADCs. However, Aletta's still pretty good in that mid lane as well. Looks like new recruits and VVeasel will go ahead and immediately pick up their champions, a Taric and a Fizz. Taric, a nice champion with his own personal stuns, which might be able to stop the enemy team from doing much of anything. And then VVeasel on that slippery fish. Fizz going in the mid lane, possibly against this Annie, it looks like. So we'll see how those two match up. Annie has the power once she gets the stun down on Fizz to burst him down. However, if Fizz tricks or plays his way out of getting any of that damage or the stun, he's going to do a little bit better. He actually can, I believe, dodge the Annie Q. If that's set up as the stun when he jumps into that texture play, because he's untargetable, and so the Q kind of just goes to waste. So we'll see if he can slip out of that. Sleepy picking up the Ezreal ADC for Team Aletta Ocean, and TheBulimicWhale now in the jungle. Rengar, different type of leaping champion, the opposite of Kha'Zix, but we'll see how well he does with that. Does need the bushes for the leaps, but hey, Rengar is still very powerful in other ways as well. Bajannn. Picking up Leona, one of my favorite supports with all of the CC that she can do in that, not really sure, maybe top lane. Everyone's picking Ignite on this purple team. And then Volnova, that Nocturne jungle. Very strong champion with that leap in power. Going to be able to start off a lot of team fights or pick off very weak champions on the enemy team. Patchinator picking up a little bit of a different champion, not going with the same Thresh pick that he usually picks, instead going with Soraka, wanting to have that mana spam for Sleepy, gonna keep Ezreal filled up on mana, and aScafe picking up a different, I guess top lane. He hasn't switched over his masters yet, or his spells, but going in that top lane Xin Zhao with a lot of damage. Going to be able to leap in, and with a lot of the heal abilities that Xin Zhao has recently been buffed with, going to keep himself pretty tanky up there. xMagt picking the ADC for purple team, hovering over the graves, going to have that burst damage as well as kind of a longer range ultimate, but maybe switching up here. xMagt is a better top laner, and I have seen ADC Kales before, and very strong on the Kale pick. Don't know if they're actually going to roll with it, though, as they'll be a little bit offended for purple team. Actually, they will. They've locked in xMagt on the Kale with that teleport, which makes me feel that it's going to be a Taric Leona bot lane with the Kale in the top lane. So it'll be a damaging support team in the bottom lane for purple team. That'll be very fun to watch with all of that CC stunning. New recruit stun and Bajannn on the Leona. What an interesting game. I might be able to give it over. I might have to give it over to blue team once again to win, simply because they were so strong last game. They have lost xMagt on the Kale, so it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up. But I still like Aletta Ocean on the Annie pick. However, purple team is very, very cool with that double stunning support in that bottom lane. So it'll be very interesting to see how they manage that and if it works out in their favor. It's always good to be able to stop an Ezreal in his tracks if you have that stun, and he can take a lot of damage really quick, since he tries to be a slippery champion. But once you CC him and he gets stuck, all you have to do is Taric stun from a distance, which opens it up for Leona to EQ in with that ultimate as well. He's not going to be going anywhere. Purple team does have the beautiful Nocturne ultimate to start team fights off. Might actually be able to even jump in on the Ezreal again, but also a very good champion that once a team fight breaks out and one of the blue team members actually back away with very low health, he can then follow up with his ultimate and keep right on their tail. Very good champion against Ezreal, since his dash, as long as you have vision on him, his little E dash isn't going to help him out too much. So, team prediction, as I said, blue team I think is going to win it once again. However, first blood and triple kill are kind of interesting. I think I'm going to do the triple kill to Fizz. No, I'm going to give it to Nocturne. I think Nocturne is going to have the damage and sustainability to be able to grab himself a triple kill. He's kind of a pretty good counter to Xin Zhao, who I didn't realize Xin Zhao will actually be playing jungle this game, and it will be a Rengar top lane. So that will be a very unique BulimicWhale going up against this Kale in the top lane. So we'll see how those two matchups go as well. Bronze 5 teams. So we'll see how these two teams line up here in just another minute or so. And then who gets first blood? Aletta Ocean, don't fail me now. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to think Annie in that mid lane is going to have that early burst damage on the Fizz, and it's going to be able to get him down pretty quick. But Fizz is a very slippery champion, so he could be able to get out of that. Aletta Ocean did get first blood last game, so I'm only playing with the strengths that I know, people. I only got so much. So I'm going to see if these predictions are correct in the game. Oh, I almost forgot. We gotta run through everyone really fast. Aletta Ocean on that Annie in the mid lane, Sleepy on the ADC in the bottom lane, TheBulimicWhale in the top lane, Rengar, Patchinator support Soraka in the bottom lane, and aScafe in the jungle as Xin Zhao. New recruits on the Taric in the bottom lane, as well as with Bajannn, Leona, Volnova on the jungle, Nocturne, Weasel on the Fizz mid lane, and then xMagt on his favorite Kale in the top lane with teleport. I always forget, not always forget, I sometimes forget to do that and I gotta rush through that, but it makes it more official when everyone gets to hear their name and character read out and what lane they're going. All pro style. So once again, skin to win. Usually I get proved right on what team has the most skins, which means they are more likely to win, but purple team may have heard me in the last game and decided to go with all champions that have skins and be able to beat out blue team, but looks like we have a not connected skin for aScafe on the, no, I'm kidding. He'll connect in a minute, hopefully. We've got Fisherman Fizz for purple team giving themselves one skin, however versus Annie's gonna match it. Blue team may be actually tied in this game for skins unless aScafe locks in with a skinned champion as well. We'll see once he actually connects, which hopefully won't take too long. I think Annie is actually, let me look this up real fast. I think Annie is a counter to Fizz, so Fizz might have counterpicked himself unless he is a really good player with Fizz. Yes, Annie is strong against Fizz, so Fizz may have actually counterpicked himself into this Annie, which is not good when you see the power of Aletta Ocean in the last game. I think Weasel or VVeasel was in the last game, so he does know that that Aletta Ocean is pretty powerful, but maybe not. We'll see. So then let's go down here to Ezreal and see if Ezreal, well, we do have that awkward Taric and Leona in the bottom lane, double gold champions. So we'll see if he can actually match them. It's kind of hard to see if he counters them, considering that they're not regular players, not a regular bottom lane. Let's see about this Rengar in the top lane versus this Kale. If it was a regular pick, not necessarily. I don't think they match each other at all, since Rengar is usually placed in the jungle. Rengar is good against a variety of champions, but not the Kale. And then we're going to go really quick before the game gets too far underway and check out if Kale states that she is good. Nope, so they very rarely have anything to do with each other, so we'll see if these two can match themselves in the game. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are underway into this second game, 2 of 2. I think somebody might have actually flashed there. Yes, Fizz actually flashed accidentally. Nice job burning your flash, Fizz. Unfortunate, poor soul. However, purple team is down a man. No, it was blue team is down a man, as Xin Zhao never actually connected, which is unfortunate. But we're going to place characters where they're supposed to be. We've got this Kale versus Rengar in the top lane. Nocturne versus the AFK Xin Zhao jungle, followed by the mid laners, Fizz and Annie, and then the ADC and support. But I'm actually going to switch these two around and let Taric be the ADC and Leona be the support in the bottom lane, as Leona is not necessarily the damaging champion that you would think. So we'll see a lot of Dorans start out for blue team, as they have those 3 Dorans, or purple team, 3 Doran's rings and the Doran shield. Everyone pause, waiting for Xin Zhao to come back. Indeed, we are waiting. aScafe with that Xin Zhao AFK. Will he get back into game? Will it be reset? Nobody knows. Not sure if his client crashed or something. I don't know if anybody has that information. Does look like he DC, which is going to be unfortunate, but there we go. Mage T going ahead and throwing down a ward there. Going to have that vision in the top lane. If an early gank by the AFK Xin Zhao does happen, but may not actually occur. aScafe still is not connected, which is pretty unfortunate. Rengar did pick up that yellow starting off, so we'll have a bit of damage done. Aletta Ocean going ahead and getting a nice stun onto Fizz with that auto attack as well. Gonna have that W to do a lot of damage to all the minions. TheBulimicWhale trying to get these minions in the top lane. Has grab 2 to match with that Kale. Bajannn in the bottom lane doing a little bit of a laugh dance as well. Biggest problem will be trying to get in to actually hit the Ezreal, as both champions are melee champions. VVeasel taking a lot of damage and harass from Annie, as he is a melee champion. He doesn't have his dash yet, as he is only level 1 with actual 0 minions. Annie doing a good job of keeping him away from the minions. Now he's level 2, so he does have a little bit of movement with that trickster play. Actually still getting damage though. Annie taking a nice tower shot, gonna put her down to about half health and cause her to chug some potions. Xin Zhao is still AFK, so the game is very strongly in purple team's favor. However, blue team may still turn it around and win it, depending on how the game goes. A nice another stun and Q by VVeasel, onto VVeasel, means that Annie is still pushing pretty hard in the lead now. 8-1 in minion farm. Nocturne is, however, kind of coming in onto the Annie. So the gank by purple team may be there. Aletta Ocean trying to back off. Nocturne does have blue and red buff. The fear's down onto Annie. I don't think she's used her flash yet, though. The dash by Fizz, though, means that he is there for the ignite and first blood. Calling out a noob in that bottom lane. Taric getting a lot of these minions. Soraka just trying to keep Ezreal up there, but I think their stuns are now coming into play. Silver beats them in the mid lane, but that was a 2-for-1. That's hard to say, and kind of rude if you think about it, as 2-for-1 almost always guarantees a kill, unless the player is really, really good. I think Annie actually burned her flash pretty early into that, and that's why she didn't have it later to jump over the wall. It was unfortunate that Nocturne was there with that fear, but that is what sealed her doom. Purple team grabbing that first blood of the game. Now about 1,000 gold in the lead, but that's not a whole lot when it comes to late game. Taric spamming that crystal burst to get a lot of these minions, giving a couple over to Leona as well. Looks like blue team just wants to hang out under the tower and grab as much farm as they can. TheBulimicWhale using that nice W to heal himself in the top lane. Does have a red pot, and I don't believe red pot instantly heals you anymore when it comes to that. VVeasel getting a good bit of damage down. Aletta Ocean getting off a nice stun, going to stop him in his tracks, throwing off another auto attack, forcing him to use a lot of potions. He did start off grabbing himself a good bit of damage with the amplifying tome, but Annie came back with double Doran's ring, so she's going to have a little bit more help and mana regen than Fizz in the mid lane. 25 farm to 19. Rengar doing a good job of keeping up farm against the distance auto-attacking of the Kale in that top lane, as Rengar is a melee champion. However, once he pushes it back out to the bushes, he might have a little bit of an advantage, as he can't hop back and forth between the bushes. Haven't seen a Rengar in top lane in quite a while, ever since about Season 3. So it'll be interesting to see what the new game changes, if he's able to do well for himself. Looks like Nocturne has decided to jungle on blue team's side, knowing that Xin Zhao is pretty much gone, as nobody's seen him for quite a while. Grabbing himself blue buff as well. Sleepy and Patchinator in that bottom lane, just trying to keep their farm up. Looks like Leona will grab with the E. Sleepy going ahead and dashing to the side. Bajannn taking a good bit of damage from the tower before backing off with about 1/3 of the health originally had when he initially went into that fight. I think Sleepy actually managed to get the dash off before Bajannn was able to finish landing the E to get that Q stun off, which meant that he was out of range initially. Unless, I think Leona can actually follow his E. Oh, TheBulimicWhale getting off a nice taunting the ultimate out on xMagt. Thought that the Rengar was going all in, but instead he backed out the last seconds, and that means that Kale does not have that ultimate for the next time Rengar decides to all in. Go ahead and using the jungle or the bushes there, has used his ultimate, so he's gonna be able to get this leap in. A lot of damage now going on to xMagt. The ignite is there, the slow as well. Will it be enough? Actually, I don't know if Kale has the health to be able to heal, but the ignite is not enough. And xMagt is gonna back out from that top lane. Actually, probably gonna use a teleport to get back to lane real fast. Rengar now doesn't have a whole lot of options. Might have to back off quick as well. Nocturne is making his way up there, so a fight could break out pretty soon. Purple team still in the lead with just that one kill. Still about that 1k gold in the lead, but having a tough time as blue team is farming up pretty well. And he has come to the bottom lane. Go ahead and use their ultimate to stun both of these bottom lane members. CP actually picking up that first kill on the Leona before coming in. New Recruits now tries to flash over the wall, but Annie Q's there following him over the wall, grabbing off that kill for herself as well. 2 kills. Blue team doing a beautiful job of pulling the game back into their side. Report Taric for burning a flash, I guess. xMagt in that top lane using those powerful auto attacks, trying to get farm back up to match this Rengar. Now 46 to 41. Rengar is going to lose some farm as those minions are underneath the tower, but he's in the lead so far, so might be able to keep that lead for a while longer. But that is now 2 kills to 1 for blue team, even though they are currently 4v5ing, as Xin Zhao has not come back in the game yet, and that is very unfortunate. TheBulimicWhale using a nice heal to keep himself healthy in the top lane. Kale trying to do what damage he can. 43 to 51, just trying to use those auto attacks to get as much farming as possible. And once again, neither member of these top lanes have died just yet. Both O and O. Hasn't been a whole lot of jungler action, considering that one of the members doesn't have the jungler, one of the teams doesn't have the jungler, and Nocturne has been really focused on this mid lane and just trying to farm up as fast as he can. I think he does have his ultimate now, so he might be using it a good bit. Ezreal now bottom lane going ahead and using his ultimate to grab a lot of that minion farm that was underneath the tower. Soraka still making her way back, so purple team could all in him before Soraka's back, but I don't think he's going to give them that chance. VVeasel in the mid lane doing a good job of staying alive, 1-0 against this Annie, who's now 1-1, and she has finished her Chalice, as well as Ezreal finished off the beginning part of the beginning part of that Triforce with the Sheen. Chalice coming out from Soraka as well. Blue team not wanting me down on mana. Looks like Annie is coming down here, though. That's going to be spelled death as Bajannn actually jumps in on Sleepy, but actually dodges the Annie ultimate, as well as uses her ultimate herself on the Annie. But new recruits now, really bad. Annie tried to get this kill onto him. The Ignite is down, but there's the flash Q by Annie to grab that kill. Does have another stun up, and that's going to give her a double kill on that bot lane, as Ezreal was there to finish off. Throwing off that Leona saying nice ult, as it did miss both members of purple team, but it was still there to help out a lot. xMagt getting a lot of damage, shouldn't be sitting underneath in the bushes, as TheBulimicWhale is going to take advantage of that with all of those leaping auto attacks. Fizz doing a lot of damage to Aletta Ocean, however he's going to get stunned. Does have the ultimate now onto Aletta Ocean. He's been taken down to about quarter health. The Ignite is burning as well. Don't know if Aletta Ocean can get away from that. She did use the Fire Shield. The W actually missed as VVeasel dashes through her, dodging that, and going to be able to walk away from that, grabbing himself a second kill as well for purple team. Now 4-2, blue team still staying strong, matching farm or matching gold in the game. How many times can you keep jumping this kill as Rengar keeps bouncing back and forth? Leona going hard onto this team here, but Soraka doing a nice job of using that silence to keep her from doing anything. xMagt went ahead and used the ultimate in that top lane the last second, keeping himself alive. However, that Ignite is burning, and that might spell death. Oh my gosh, Kale did actually get out of that alive, flying her way back to the second tower before backing off. Rengar throwing down that ward, trying to see if he can jump on. No, Kale's going to go all the way back to the first tower. May walk it back completely just to make sure she lives. There we go. Recalling at that inhibitor tower. Patchinator in a good bit of trouble though. Nocturne ult comes in. Use a nice flash to be able to jump out of that. The fear is down, but it's not going to stay. Nova getting a lot of damage now. Annie is there with Sleepy with the auto attack. Long range flash E by Leona trying to jump in on Soraka and finish her off. However, the silence is going to keep Leona from doing anything as her auto attack is not strong enough. Patchinator falling over the nice heal, keeping herself healthy. Annie just continuing to farm this bottom lane now 4-2, going down every time that there's a fight. She is going to be going back towards the mid lane. Fizz knows that she is there, might be jumping in. However, new recruits is now doing a little bit of a hammer time with Ezreal. We all know what Taric really wants to do with Ezreal. As Ezreal's in the bottom lane, maybe backing out, maybe staying. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. Fizz now has finished off his magic penetration boots. You know who wants to penetrate. TheBulimicWhale in that top lane doing a lot of damage to these minions up here, just jumping back and forth, getting off that damage on that cannon minion. Doing a little bit of damage now onto xMagt. Those auto attacks are massive. Does have a Vamp Scepter, so that lifesteal on the minions is going to keep him pretty healthy against all of the attacks by Kale. But Kale has a nice sheen for those auto attack speed. Going to be doing more and more damage. Xin Zhao still not in the game, but blue team doesn't care. Pulling it into a win as they're now 6-2 in the game. But when you're a man down, things can still stack up badly for you, as purple team does have a bit better pushing power. TheBulimicWhale jumping on xMagt, but Fizz is here. VVeasel coming up as well. Rengar go ahead and use the ultimate and actually leapt to Fizz, trying to get out of that, but no, he goes ahead and uses the flash as well. The Fizz ultimate has been used, and the auto attacks by Kale is going to bring him really low health. Fizz picking up the last little bit to grab that kill. Sleepy in that bottom lane, trying to do his best to harass. However, both members, Taric and Leona, are super tanky in this bottom lane. Actual, I think it was a Warden's Mail finished off, or Glacier Shroud, sorry, finished off by Taric, and a Giant's Belt picked up by Leona. So they're not going to be taking too much damage in that bottom lane. Bajannn sitting in this bush. There we go, grabbing a nice EQ onto Patchinator, but doesn't have any damage to follow it up as she is only building tanky. There's the ultimate though. The stuns are too much. Patchinator not able to heal himself out of that one. Another kill for purple team as Leona 0-3 gives it over to Taric, now 1-2. Ezreal going ahead and using his ultimate just to clear farm here. Actually missed on that last little bit farm. He wanted it. Waiting for Annie to come down. She might actually be able to flash jump. No, she just throws down the Tibbers, but Taric Flash is going to get him out of that ultimate, and he's going to be able to dodge it and stay alive. Purple team is pushing hard down the mid lane, though. They might be able to get that tower, as there are very few members of blue team able to go towards it. Purple team actually just going ahead and giving that bottom tower over. Sleepy picking up that one. He will actually be grabbed by Leona, going ahead and using a dash going to be able to stay away from that. Purple team finally picking up this mid tower. Nocturne does have blue buff, so he should have his ultimate up pretty soon. It is up, and he could jump in onto anyone in the bottom lane if they decide to try to fight it out. A lot of pings going back and forth between both of those team members in the bottom lane. Blue team having a lot of wards, but I don't think they can see Nocturne on this red buff, however. Purple team went ahead and threw down a ward onto Dragon, so they'll know if anyone tries to do Dragon. Ezreal and Annie going ahead and backing in that bottom lane. Gonna grab themselves some new items. Soraka has picked up that sight ward, so we'll have a lot of wards to place down. As you can see, putting one next to Dragon. Ezreal picking up the second piece of that Trinity Force, grabbing that Frozen Mallet. Or I guess the start of the Frozen Mallet. What is it called these days? The Phage. Was the original start to the Frozen Mallet, but has now been changed over to a completely different, as Frozen Mallet has a very different build. But that's alright. In that bottom lane, Leona doing the best, trying to give a lot of farm over to Taric. Now 72. Excuse me, to the 76 farm by Ezreal. He's not going to grab a lot more with the ultimate. However, both members of Purple Team leaping in on Soraka. That is a triple stun. She was able to get one heal off and now throw the actually heal spell, which I think was Ezreal's. Gave her the movement speed to get out of that. Does still have her ultimate. There we go, using her ultimate. She's so low health. She's going to be able to walk away from that. New recruit's taking a lot of damage from the tower, trying to tank it. Bajannn not having to help. But Purple Team's not going to be bad, as Aletta is going to be able to come in. They've walked back into this tower. New recruit saying, no, I don't know if I can make this happen. Gonna suicide underneath the tower. Bajannn caught out, giving another kill over to Annie in the bottom lane. Taric actually doing a nice job of dodging the enemy and jumping under that tower. Not wanting to give that gold over to the enemy. But that is a 7th kill by Blue Team, even though they are down 4 versus 5. Looks like they might be going in for this Dragon. Rengar considering jumping in onto the Kale, but then I saw Nocturne come up and was like, I guess I'll go for Nocturne once he kind of separates himself. But now going to be in a bad fight here, jumping in, and the ultimate from Kale keeping Nocturne alive just before Rengar did finally die. Nova doing a nice job of dodging the Ezreal ultimate. It kind of flew in. Blue Team pulling off in the mid lane after grabbing a nice tower, grabbing themselves a 3rd tower of the game. Purple Team does have one, but now we're going to be pushing in for this tower. It's like we're asking if want to play an in-house game, but I think I might be gone after this game. I've got to cook dinner for myself and my lovely wife, so I think I might have to go, and we will do it another time though. Thank you all for your awesome plays and enjoying the game. That Fizz ultimate will spell death for Rengar. He is not going to have anything. And trying to turn it around, grabs 1 kill onto Taric. Can Annie and Ezreal pick up this kill onto Bajannn as well? That Ezreal dash is there. And he's going to pick himself up another kill to push himself to a killing spree. 9 to 6 kills. Blue Team doing an excellent job of keeping this game in the lead. A lot of damage from Sleepy onto VVeasel. VVeasel has trickster play. Sleepy trying to jump out of that, but VVeasel actually just flashed over the wall, knowing he wasn't able to stay alive. You guys gotta stop distracting me when I'm in the middle of a game. I'm gonna have to start unfriending you guys. Another kill by Annie. So low health underneath the tower. But VVeasel escaped out of that. As Taric comes in for the heal. Whoa, VVeasel might be grabbing a kill or death. Sleepy now with about half health. Gonna be healed up by Patchinator. Came in just to assist out there. Try to throw another Q over the wall. See if Fizz was following. But it was not. Fizz deciding it was safe to back off with only 2 bars of health. New recruits now pushing down here. Purple Team looking like they want Dragon, but Blue Team's going to try to contest it here. They do have 3 of their members coming in. I guess 2 members, Rengar and Soraka. They're going to be able to try to stop this Dragon. I don't know if they're going to make it though. xMagt doing a lot of damage to it, and Bajannn doing a nice job of tanking it out. Patchinator is just around the corner though. They do have vision on the Dragon. Ezreal might try to snipe it over the wall, but Leona got it. Good job by purple team picking up that dragon even without their jungler. Fizz ultimate missing completely, but he jumps in nonetheless, actually leaping back onto Soraka before jumping out. However, this Nocturne ultimate is there. He's going to try to jump on somebody. Bajannn now taking really low health. Aletta Ocean just jumping in with that Q burst damage, going to be killing her. The ultimate from Ezreal jumping through a couple different people's. Nova now in a bad situation. He has silence as the Annie Tibbers is going to tick away damage. Sleepy grabbing up that kill with his long range Q. Blue team continuing to push in on the bottom lane now, trying to come in, or in the mid lane, I'm sorry, trying to seal off more towers. 3-2 might be pushing in and getting this next tower before doing a good job. Scott is LCS. Blue team is successfully grabbing this tower. Tibber is doing a beautiful job of tanking the tower and dying just before the tower went down, allowing Annie in her beautiful bear skin to just continue to do massive damage. New recruits taken down to a very low amount of health. However, Weasel's there trying to get in. The silence from Soraka is going to keep him from doing a whole lot, though. Trickster play is going to be up in a second. He's going to have to back off from that, though. Taric going ahead and throwing down a heal, just trying to be a support champion if he can. Patchinator doing a good job of keeping the mana up for Aletta. Bajannn trying to get in some action here as the E did go out. This is going to have the stun to go down onto Patchinator, going ahead and throwing off that solar flare. Going to try to do what damage they can. The anti-stun is down, though. Tipper's already back up as she jumps in. Taric going to be instantly nuked from that Annie, who then has more damage coming in. The actual Ezreal ultimate sniping off Nocturne just before Annie got it. But Annie turned around and grabbed her own kill on the Kale. That ultimate being back up on the Annie is mind-blowing. I did not know there was such a freaking low cooldown. Aletta Scott now does have the ultimate fun Fizz. The Ignite is down as well. It's going to be a Burst champion versus Burst here. Weasel actually going to, there you go, Trickster play and jump back into the fight, grabbing a kill on that Annie. No surrender. Bajannn coming in very low health. His blue team is going to be able to grab that BulimicWhale using a nice Rengar leap to finish it off. That is now 16 kills to 7. Blue team dominating this game. Surrender vote failed for purple team. No surrenders allowed as this 4v5 is progressively going even further into the game. 21 minutes in. It does appear that the game will even up a little bit as we get this late into it once champions start hitting 18, because blue team will have, or purple team will have 5 18 members, whereas blue team will be sitting on the low number of 4. And so purple team still could manage to pull this into a win. They only have to kill 3 enemy team members to be able to push in and grab an inhibitor more than likely, whereas blue team has to at least secure 4 depending on who they kill. Fizz still doing an excellent job, has grabbed himself that, my is not with me, Deathfire Grass, so he'll be doing a lot of damage every time he leaps in on somebody. 4-0, trying to counter that Annie 10-3. Looks like Fizz did use his ultimate to try to be able to get anything on Annie, but missed it. However, it will be up pretty shortly as his and Annie's ultimates are so low cooldown. xMagt grabbing up some farm in the jungle, just trying to keep farmed up. Purple team having finally started to maybe ward a little bit more, as they do have a couple wards in their jungle. Rengar is actually kind of roaming around here, sitting in that bush. He might be able to actually find Fizz before Fizz backs. Fizz dashing, and then Trickster play away, not allowing Rengar to get in any of those auto attacks. But purple team is now full force coming in. They see Rengar in that bush. New recruits coming in, trying to get a stun off. Blue team has collected around that mid lane. They are all viable targets for that Nocturne ultimate to come in, but he's not actually going to leap onto anybody, and instead is going to let them back off. But no, a fight's going to break out in the mid lane. Aletta Ocean, Hyper Stun, and Fear now going to be able to back out of that situation, though, as purple team is now in full retreat. The ultimate from Kale trying to keep Nova alive. He's going to be able to get a little bit of a speed boost, but no, I got to dodge the... Okay, dodges the Ezreal art, but Ezreal ult, but it found its target on Kale nonetheless, grabbing off the kill on them. Tipper's doing, once again, a beautiful job of tanking this tower. Just before the tower goes down, Rengar doing a little bit of a laugh against this Leona, who is very tanky, has very 0 damage herself, and it is all armor. She does not have the magic resist to deal with this Annie in the mid lane. does seem like that might be a game sealed, as blue team is now going to be pushing in after getting a nice inhibitor for themselves onto this Nexus turrets. They might be able to get 1 or 2 before purple team is up. Taric is up as well as Nova, but they may just be chilling this game out, waiting for blue team to push in and win. Kalye getting a bit of damage done by that Ezreal long range. No, purple team's back into this. New recruits flashing in with the stun onto Patchinator. Fancy, fancy. Kalye knowing that Aletta Ocean is the target to hit. Fizz actually trickster play once in before going, hey, I'm going in solo. I don't want this. Bajannn now going in way too hard. 1v3. Didn't have the team with her. GG game. But purple team in the meantime grabbed a kill of their own. And Rengar underneath that top tower went a little hard, as the team was there with those stuns of the Taric. Ezreal going ahead and throwing an Aletta, but actually not hitting anybody, as Kalye's going to be able to heal and back off. Well, Nocturne might have actually been hit by it, but pretty low health, is going to be able to float his way back to the Nexus, though. Aletta Ocean on that powerhouse Annie, 12 and 3. Going ahead and now pushing towards this bottom lane. She wants blue buff, but it is not there. Going to go ahead and back. Let their minions do work in the mid lane. Purple team finally starting to maybe collect themselves a little bit, trying to see what things they can do to make this game go back in their favor. Kalye has finished off a Lich Bane, as well as that last Whisperer, I believe? No, Nashor's Tooth, I apologize. So we'll have a lot of damage, but has very little tank. Needs to be able to build some magic resist against this Annie. Everyone should build magic resist in this case. There we go. They tried to surrender, 3-2. Not gonna happen. Keep it real. Ravenous Hider picked up by Nocturne will give him a lot of damage as well, but they are just not quite tanky enough to deal with it. Went ahead and finished off Merc Treads to have a little bit of magic resist against the Annie, as Annie is really the only team member wrecking. Ezreal's got a good bit of damage, 6-0. Does have that that Trinity Force finish. The ultimate from Leona is down onto Annie, but it did not land as well as she was able to jump over the wall with the flash, keeping herself alive and full health. Purple team, last-ditch effort trying to start a Baron. That did not happen. Now full retreat backing off as these minions push in onto their base. They already have one minion wave at their towers. And I gotta stay alive, xMagt. Stunned and silenced. That spells death for the Kalye, even if she did have her ultimate available. Which actually it did just look like she did, or it just came up. Purple team now full retreat, backing off, letting the blue team take this tower. Oh, Kalye says click the base and went in the wrong direction. May have clicked something bad, but that is death by actually purple team picking up a kill. Taric grabbing that kill onto Patchinator. However, Ezreal's there for the double kill and triple kill, as I called it. Ezreal with a triple kill and a quadra kill just before the end of the game. Go Kalye, give him a penta. Be nice enough to do such a thing. Oh no, Kalye used the ultimate by herself, and that kept her alive. Ezreal getting shut down by actual Taric on the tower. However, Annie was there grabbing that kill on Kalye. Looks like Leona is going to jump in onto the TheBulimicWhale. Kind of just doing anything to distract from the tower, going and using her ultimate to keep him stunned. But he has the lifesteal, there we go. As well as that Yosema's Blade is going to definitely keep him alive. But he's not able to kill in the meantime as the minions take down the tower and finishing it off for blue team 26-10. Even in a 4v5 situation, fighting it to the win. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why you don't surrender a game if you have an AFK. You never know when your team can pull it into a win and dominate. Gotta clear these up here. So, I'm gonna run really quick through MVP players. MVP was definitely the Xin Zhao. Gotta give it to him for that AFK. A beautiful job of not doing anything during the entire game due to that AFK, or not AFK, DC. Due to him disconnecting, he definitely gets most valuable player. No, I'm messing. Purple team was the losing team once again, as team Aletta Ocean won a second game in a row. So MVP on purple team, who actually did a bit better of a job defending in this game and holding it together. Probably, I'm going to give it over to Fizz. only having 1 death when his team had 26 is saying something. I know that Fizz is a hard champion to kill, but blue team did have a lot of CC with that Soraka silence, the stuns by Annie, the stuns by Rengar, and yet he still only had 1 death, and that's really a reason why I want to give him most valuable player. Didn't have the most kills, but if you stay alive, you can do more for your team than if you're dead. You do more damage when you're alive, you do more everything when you're alive. So good job to him for only having 1 death, even in a really bad situation, or a bad fight, and mostly a bad game for them. For blue team, I know Aletta Ocean wants it again, but Ezreal stole it himself with that 1 death as well. Aletta did a beautiful job of setting up stuns, but Ezreal was always there to follow up. 11 kills, 11 assists. Beautiful job in that bottom lane, getting a lot of farm. Could have easily allowed himself to get killed a number of times by overextending and just getting CC'd to death by the enemy team. However, was there for a lot of, or was able to farm very heavily against the team, even though he was, I don't even know what I'm saying. But another shout out though to Patchinator on that beautiful Soraka support, keeping that Ezreal healthy and alive with that mana. 19 assists. That means all but 7 kills. No, 6 kills, because she had to kill herself. All but 6 kills she was a part of. That is 1/5 of, I guess you could say 4/5 of the kills Soraka was a part of, which is huge on a support champion. So beautiful, beautiful job. Has invited you to play a game, custom summoners draft. I can't do it, man. I'm sorry. I can only have the 2 tonight. Thank you so much, though. I will be streaming some other night this week. I'm not positive yet. As somebody said, I apparently did break the 75 subscribers, or not subscribers, I guess I have followers on Twitch at the moment. So I will be doing the giveaway most likely Sunday at